X value is 0, comma, Y value is 750 mm. So 750, I have written, okay. So we have written the coordinates. Even if you take Y down, okay, no problem. Y is upward from 1000 here, 750 here. It's okay. You not get confused. Only sign convention we are adapting for the direction of deformation. It's okay. Next, you have to rule out a small rough table like this. Write member, element number, okay, element, and a description. You just write the description, and length. Okay. Now direction cosines. C suffix x, C suffix y. That is nothing but L and M. Okay, LM. Otherwise, other notation. Okay, C suffix x, C suffix y. I have written direction cosines. Now what to do? Element 1, 2, 3, 4. I have written here. Element 1, 2, 3, 4. I have written here. Now in the description, see here. See, I want to take towards right deformation of the truss as positive. Some kind of sign convention I am adapting. Similarly, downward deformation of the truss as positive. Please keep it in mind. The member deformation towards right, I want to take it as positive. Similarly, any vertical member is the downward deformation of the truss, I want to take it as positive. Okay. Opposite to that, minus. It's okay. Good. Now what I am accordingly I am writing description. This is very important description. For element 1, towards right deformation I said no. So towards right you have to move. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. Description I given. Similarly, element 2 is here. Right? I told you downward deformation positive I told you. That is why 3, 2. 3, 2 description you have to write. Okay. Whose length also I will come to that later. And element 3. Element 3, what is this length? Root of 1000 square plus 750 square. It is found to be 1250 mm. Okay. So the length of third element is 750 mm length. Description is here 1, 3. I told you deformation towards right positive. No, this deformation positive. No, if it deforms this way, result you will be getting right towards right. That's why 1, 2, 1, 3. You have to write description 1, 3. At fourth node. Fourth node is there. I told you deformation towards right positive. No. So you have to description, you have to say right 4, 3 towards right. Okay. 4, 3. So likewise I have given the description. Okay. The member description. And the length of each member I have written. Element 1 is 1000. Element 2 is 750. Element 3 is 1250. Element 4 is 1000 mm. Okay. Length written. Even if you can write a unit also here. Length mm, you can write a unit here. Okay. Now direction cosines. I am coming to direction cosines. How do you obtain direction cosines? See what to do. For element 1, go to description. How it is written? 1, 2. Okay. Go to the coordinates 1, 2. Only one coordinate is here, 2 coordinates here. It is 1, 2. No. You what to do? 1 minus 2. Okay. No. Actually 1, 2. No. It's written 1, 2. It's okay. Yeah, you have to write 2 minus 1. Okay, 2 minus 1. Because if you want to get that coordinates, no, from that you have to write 2 minus 1. Okay. See, what is the x coordinate for 2000? 1000 minus 0. Okay, divided by length of the member. Okay, that is x2 minus x1 divided by L to get the direction cosines. Okay, y x2 minus x1. This is this member. No, this will give you its projection on x-axis, because this minus this is nothing but its projection on x-axis. Y2 minus y1 is nothing but its projection on y-axis. Okay, that is the meaning of it. Right. So 1, 2, go to 2. This x minus this x divided by L 1000. So 1. Cx is 1. Next Cy. This minus this 0, 0 minus 0, 0 divided by L 0. Okay, that's why 0. Direction cosine. Okay. Please listen. The coordinate minus gives you the projection of the member on x and y axis. Keep it in mind. And that divided by length of the member will give you the direction cosines. That is adjacent side by hypotenuse. Nothing but adjacent side by hypotenuse value you will be getting. Okay. Next to come to member 2. Description is 3, 2. Okay. 3 is here, 2 is here. So 2 minus 3 you have to write. Okay. 2 is here. 1000 minus 1000 divided by L. Okay. 1000 minus 0. That's why Cx is 0. Next, I told you 3 to no, 2 minus 3, right? 2 is here. This y minus this y. Okay. So this is y of 2 minus y of y coordinate of 3. That is 0 minus 750. Okay. That would be length of the member. Length of the member is 750. So minus 1. So the direction cosine is minus 1. Next, go to third element. For third element, the description is given as 1, 3. So 3 coordinates of 3 minus coordinates of 1 you have to deduct. Okay. So what is coordinates of 3 is here. This minus 0. Okay. So 1000. 1000 divided by 1250. 1000 divided by 1250, 0.8. Okay. Next, 1, 3, no, 3 is here. Okay. 750 minus 0. Okay. So 750. 750 by 1250. Because 750 minus 0, no. So plus 750 only. Divided by 1250, 0.6. So the dash cosine is 0.6 here. Next, come to fourth element. Description is 4, 3. Third coordinate, the coordinates of how to say, node 3. Coordinates of xy coordinates of node 3 minus xy coordinates of node 4 you have to write. Okay. So where is 3? 3 is here. 3 minus 4, no. Okay. 1000 minus 0. So 1000. Divided by length of the 1000. So plus 1. Okay. Next, 750 minus 750, 0. So the direction cosine is 0 here. This way you have to calculate the direction cosines. You have to be very careful. 1, 2 na take sine node coordinates x. Okay, that x value minus this x value, this y value minus this y value you have to write. 3, 2 na take coordinates of 2 and you have to deduct this coordinates of 3 from 2. Okay. Coordinates of 2 minus coordinates of 3 you have to deduct. X value of this minus x value of this. Y value of this minus y value of this you have to deduct. That divided by length will give you the direction cosines. Okay. Hope you would have followed. Right. This way I obtained the direction cosines. We know the element stiffness matrix K equal to A by L into this formula. If you don't remember, you can write it. LMN. Minus L minus M plus L plus M into vertical direction. Minus L minus M plus L plus M. You would multiply. You will be getting this matrix. Okay. So you need to memorize it. You can obtain it just by writing that strain displacement matrix. I told you, no. That is, please, yesterday I explained. Okay. So you write down this one that way. Don't memorize. You obtain it every time. Just multiplying that those two matrix, transpose matrix and this original matrix. Just okay. This way, direction cosines are given. L value is this one. First for member, first K1. I'm writing element stiffness matrix for K1, first element. Okay, A by L into take direction cosine of first element 1 and 0. Write down 1 0 1 square 1. 1 into 0 0. Likewise, you write down. The values are given. LM values are known to you. For first node, it is 1, 0. L is 1, M is 0. You substitute in this and you will be getting the element stiffness matrix for remember element 1. Okay, truss element 1. Right? After writing this, what to do? For assemblage, you have to write the degrees of freedom here. Some number I have written, no, some arrow. I put some arrow and I have written the degrees of freedom. What is the degrees of freedom? Now, just you come here, just first note, degrees of freedom. 1, horizontal 1, vertical 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Totally 8 degrees of freedoms are there. Okay. Actually, you will be telling U1, V1, U2, V2, U3, V3, U4, V4. That is notation. When you say in numbers, the degrees of freedom, horizontal 1, vertical 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are the degrees of freedom. Now you have to write the degrees of freedom here. How, in order to assemble them. Okay. So how do we write? This is first element. No. What is that? 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. Then it's 1, 2. No. So what is the degrees of freedom here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All the degrees of freedom. So you write down 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees of freedom written here. Similarly, the vertical column also you write 1, 2, 3, 4 with arrow degrees of freedom. Later I will tell you by referring this degrees of freedom how to assemble it. I will tell you. Okay. wherever this 1 1 is there, you have to sum them. Wherever 2 1 is there, you have to sum it with that one. I will tell you that later. Similarly, for element stiffness 2, I am writing K2 is equal to A by L into, you know, the L and M value, L and M, that is L and M value for element 2, 0 and minus 1. Substitute in this, okay? L as 0 and M as minus 1, substitute in this, you will be obtaining the element stiffness matrix for node, element 2, for element 2, K2, A by L into this one, we obtained. Now, you have to write in the reference that degrees of freedom. You put some arrow like this, and write the degrees of freedom. Go to description of element 2. For element 2, the description is 3 2. Okay, 3 2, no, 3 2. What is the degrees of freedom here? 1 2 3 4 5 6. 5 6 is the degrees of freedom for 3. For node 1, 1 2 is the degrees of freedom. Okay, 5 6 1 2. Right. So see here, 5 6. I'm sorry, what is that description for a node 2? For node 2, sorry, 3 2. 3 2 is the description. No, 3 is 5 6. This is 2 3 4. No, okay, 5 6 3 4. Okay, so 5 6 3 4. These are I have written 5 6 3 4 because the description is for element 2 3 2. Okay, 3 2 means 3 degrees of freedom 5 6. 2 signed node degrees of freedom 3 4. Okay, that's what I written here. 5 6 3 4. Vertical direction also 5 6 3 4. You have to write. What is the use of it? Na? You have to when assemble wherever suppose say here 3 3 is there here. See 3 3 1 is there. Okay, here also where is 3 3 3 3 0 is there. You have to add it. Okay, so wherever 1 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 wherever 1 2 similar coefficient comes, you have to add the similar coefficients of all the matrices. That purpose you have to refer it. Okay, you have to assemble it. That's okay. K3 I am writing AE by L into for a third element 0.8 0.6 are the direction cosines LM. Okay, substitute that the L value as 0.8, M value as 0.6 in this, and you will be getting this matrix. Okay, under degrees of freedom you have to write down. For third element, what is the degrees of freedom for third element? 1 3. Okay, where is 1? 1 means this one. Okay, 1 2. For 3 5 6. 1 2 5 6. Okay, so 1 2 5 6 you have to write here. 1 2 5 6. The arrows are no space here to put the arrow. Please you have to put the arrow here. Okay, put the arrow and then write 1 2 5 6. Similarly, here also put the arrow and write 1 2 5 6. Okay, the degrees of freedom written. While summing this equation, the similar coefficients you have to add. You hope you will understand what I mean. Similar coefficient. For example, you see here, this is 1 1. Okay. Similarly, here also we have 1 1. The 1 1 are to be added. Okay. Well, that way you have to assemble it. For that reference only, we are putting this degrees of freedom. Okay. But assembling it will take time. No. Wherever you have to see 1 1 is here 1. In this no 1 1. In this 1 1 is there 0.64. So 0 plus 0.64. You have to add like that. The next to K4. K4 equal to for fourth element 1 0 is the direction cosines. L is the 1, M is 0. Substitute in this. You will be getting this K4. Okay. Now what is the degrees of freedom for fourth element? 4 3. 4 3 means 4 is here, 3 is here. 4 degrees of freedom, 7 8. 3 ki 5 6. 7 8 5 6. Okay. So you have to write 7 6. 7 8 5 6. 7 8 5 6 you have to write with the arrow. That arrows are missing here. With the arrow you have to write down. Okay. Now assembling of global stiffness matrix, give heading. Now you write down the degrees of freedom here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Put arrows. Vertical direction also you write the degrees of freedom 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Put arrow. Now you add the similar coefficient. Where is 1 1 is there? Go through all the 4 matrices. Wherever 1 1 is there, add them and write down here. So 1.64. See here. Where is 1 1? Yeah, here 1 1 is there. Here one value is 1. Okay. Here no 1 1. Here 1 is there. If I add 1 plus 0.64, 1.64. Here no 1. So 1.64 I have written for 1. Similarly, 2 okay. 2 go to all the matrix 2 1 is here 0, okay, in this 0. Here no 2 Here 2 is there 0.48, 0 plus 0.48. Here no 2 so 0.48. 0 plus 0.48, 0.48. Okay. Likewise, you have to similar coefficients you have to sum. Okay. And in order to get assembling of global stiffness matrix, this way you will be obtaining global stiffness matrix, capital K. This would be capital K. They are small k1, k2, k4. Okay. For each element. This is equal to you obtained it. Please, I just shown the steps. If please you complete it. It's incomplete. I advise you to complete in your this one. Afterwards, in the examination, you will not find time to solve because a computer only can solve all such things. Manually, we cannot do during exam. But you should know the procedure. That is why people will expect you to write at least this. Okay, how to develop element stiffness matrix. You need not solve the problem, but you have to show the steps. Especially this element stiffness matrix and this degrees of freedom are to be written with arrows. How to assemble them. And a few global stiffness matrix, few coefficient, if you assemble sufficient, you need not complete it fully, but in your class notes, keep it completed. Okay. And then you have to tell the procedure, equilibrium equation. That is K into D equal to F, we know. So K should come here. Okay. Just you put ditto more than sufficient, do. Ditto more than sufficient. This K will come here. And what is D? That is capital D is null degrees of freedom, U1, V1. Okay. Don't write there are 8 degrees of freedom, no. So for node 1, U1, V1, U2, V2, U3, U3 means horizontal, okay. V3 means vertical displacement, V3, U4, V4 is equal to, now nodal force vector. What is nodal force vector? At node 1, there is no forces acting, okay, 0, 0. Actually, reactive force is acting, time being we are writing 0, 0 because there will not be any displacement. Later we are going to neglect it. U1, V1 we are going to, if you apply boundary condition, U1, V1 we are going to remove. That is why even you can put dash, some reactive force is there, node 1. That need not be written. Just you can even put 0 or you can put dash here. At node 2, at node 2 of the truss, you have 90 kN horizontally and one reactive force is there. That you will not write, some dash you can put because the vertical displacement here is constrained. So if you apply boundary condition, automatically that U1, V1, U2, V2 becomes 0, no, when you apply boundary condition. Otherwise, you need not write the support reaction here. But some reaction, otherwise you can write R1, otherwise you can write, even if you don't like, you can write Y1, X1. Instead of putting dash or 0 and all, it is better, advisable to write X, vertical, no, horizontal, X1, Y1, vertical reaction. X2 is nothing, 90 kN is there, 90 kN horizontal, vertical Y2 you can write here, okay, instead of substituting 0 and all in the force vector, 90, R to 0, okay, this is the forces acting at node 1, node 2, horizontal 90, vertical 0. If you don't like to write to 0, even you can write to Y2 there, support reaction is there, sir, yes, obviously, you can write Y2, later it will be get eliminated. Okay, and then U1, U2, V2, U3, V3. Okay, V3, there's a vertical load acting here, no, that is V3. Here the vertical. U3 is 0. Okay, so 0. You write down here. This way, you write the force vector. Okay, force vector. Please, it may be noted. If you don't support reactive forces are there, which are unknown to us, that you can write as I told you, X1, Y1. Even Y2 and all. Later, apply boundary condition. I have shown it here. Apply boundary condition means automatically this U1 because it is immovable, no, immovable hinged. Which one? Node 1. Here U1, V1 0. Displacements are 0 here, we know. Here only horizontal displacement is there. Vertical displacement is 0 because of roller. So V2 0. Okay, U1 1, V2 0. Here you have both U3, V3 exist. Here U4, V4 both are 0. Okay, that's what I have written here. Apply boundary condition. Okay, so I have written here 0, 0, U2, 0, U3, V3, and then 0, 0. Automatically, this will be getting eliminated. The unknown support reactions will be at constraints will be getting eliminated. This way, the equilibrium condition is reduced. The equilibrium equation is reduced. It has to be solved for the unknowns. That's all. For unknown displacements of the truss. That is the procedure. You have to explain the procedure. By solving the above, we can get the unknown displacement, nodal displacements. Okay, can be obtained. That's all. With that, you can stop, right? So this way, especially the procedure only. The main intention is to tell you how to solve your problem. In the finite element, the program, it does all the whatever I told you. It does everything. Okay. So this way, it is being done. Similarly, I have another problem. I advise you to go through. Okay, I will show you because the notes. Just I will scroll it. Just to have a look. Later you play the video and pause it and note down. Okay, just first you note down this figure. Later you pause it while viewing the video, which I will be publishing in YouTube. Okay, you draw it and you do this problem also. You try simple. Okay, how I told you because the notes was prepared long back. At that time some corrections are there. I don't because it look very ugly. It's okay, no problem. Because I don't want to rewrite. Just to see here. This way, you have to develop element stiffness matrix. I told you the procedure of doing, right? Please do it. And then another problem is there. I will finish this also. With this, your syllabus will be over. Okay, I want to finish this also. I will not do much problem. Later, I will give some assignment. From textbook, I will give some exercise. You can solve the problem from the textbook as an assignment. Okay, I will want to finish this also. A thin plate having a uniform thickness of 20 mm is subject to a concentrated load P equal to 2 kN as shown in figure. Okay, Young's modulus 200 gigapascal, density of the material also given. Rho equal to some 79 kN per meter cube. Okay, 78 kN per meter cube. Determine the nodal displacement and the stresses in the material. Okay, a stepped bar is there, prismatic bar. It is subject to a force 2000 Newton here, that is 2 kN here. Okay, now you have to discretize element 1, element 2, right? Node 1, 2, 3 written. Okay, 350 mm, 350 mm length. Area of cross section. This is 140 mm diameter. Sorry, 40 mm diameter. Here 100 mm diameter. 100 mm diameter. This is 140 mm diameter. 140 mm diameter. 100 mm diameter. Okay, and also given here. Just for understanding, exercise how to approach this problem by finite dimensional method. Okay, so you have to write element stiffness matrix first. You know, for a prismatic bar, axial element, AE by L into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. You know that. So K equal to AE by L into this one. Okay, AE value and all given here. That is substituted. This was prepared very roughly long back. Okay, so K1, K2 I have written this one. Only K1, K2 the AE value alone differ. Okay, area different, Young's modulus same, L also same. Only area only alone differ. You compute and write down here. Okay, okay. What are be careful with the unit, right? And 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, and you write the degrees of freedom for element 1. Degrees of freedom 1 here 2. Okay, 1 2 1 2 write down, and then K2. Okay, the element stiffness matrix we have written. For a prismatic bar, you know AE by L into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. The degrees of freedom 2 3 2 3. You have to write with arrow. Okay, the reference. It's not properly written. I advise you to write down 1 2 with arrow. You write down the degrees of freedom 1 2 here. Put arrow here, and 1 2 2 3. Put arrow here. 2 3. Put just draw the arrow here. Degrees of freedom you write down. Then global stiffness matrix. Assemble it. Only this 2 2. Okay, K2 2 alone. Get added. Okay, remaining things are will be the same. So 3 by 3 matrix will be getting this coefficient you write down here. This coefficient also taken inside some commonly, or roughly you write down some common value. You keep it here. 20/6 alone get taken. This 1.6 taken inside. 1.143 taken inside and got added. Okay, this way the global stiffness matrix is obtained. And then global load vector. Actually, global load vector body force. Actually, in this problem they have taken body force and externally applied force. Body force is nothing but volume. A into L will give you volume of the each bar. That into rho will give you the weight of the bar. That will be 2. Will be the nodal force. Half of its weight. Okay, half of its weight go to for first element. Half of its weight go to first node, sine node. That's why 1 1. Okay, off here 1 1. In vector form it is written. So the data are substituted. right? This kind of problem will not get. Just it is available in notes. That's why I'm just explaining. Okay, X2. You must know the procedure. That's why I'm explaining. So that is body force for element 1. Finally, we are getting 37.73, 11. Okay, degrees of freedom 12 written. And then for body force for a signed element is equal to density. Okay, AE into L divided by 2, because both node half weight goes there, half weight comes there, into density multiplied. Okay, density of the material is multiplied. Okay, so 1 because both nodes are no, that's why the vertical 1 is there. The nodal is freedom 2-3, that is written here 2-3. Okay, 2-3 is written. So 26.95, 2-3 is written. The nodal force vector is equal to Q equal to Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, the 3 nodes are there, no, 1, 2, 3. So Q1, Q2, Q3. At node 1, top bar, half weight goes there, no, we obtained here. Body force, we obtained. That half weight of the top bar we have taken, no, that I have written. That is 37.73. That's what, 37.73. For Q2, half weight of top bar 37.73 plus half weight of bottom bar is there, no, that is found to be 26.95. That is added, plus in that node another 2000 is acting here, that also added. Okay, roughly it's very rough. Okay, 2000. And node 3 26.95, this 26.95, that's half weight of this bar. This half weight of the bottom element. Bar means bottom element. Okay, half of its body weight is I assumed to be acting at node 3. Okay, half weight of it is assumed to act at node 2. That is why it is summed like this. Global, not to get global load vector, we are doing like this. Okay, and then displacement equal to K into D equal to Q, you know. So it is written stiffness matrix U1, U2, U3 is equal to nodal load vector added, and then apply boundary condition because U1 is 0. This element is here the displacement is 0. No, U1 is 0. Only U2, U3 exist. Okay, because no constraint. It is support. That's why no displacement here. So that is applied. Why? What is the purpose of doing it? To tell you nicely the procedure. Okay, the procedure of entanglement method. Right. So by doing it, it is reduced to 2x2 matrix. By solving it, you will be getting U2, U3 value. You are right. By solving the above, this is called equilibrium condition. K into D equal to this one is called equilibrium condition. After applying boundary condition, it is reduced to like this. By solving the above, you will be getting the unknown displacement of the nodal displacement U2 and U3. That's all. With this, the problem is over. Okay, some procedure, nice prismatic problem. I advise you to take some similar problem. You find out from some textbook and do it. Prepare your notes accordingly. This notes was prepared long back, where I referred everything I forgotten. Please, I advise you. Please take some recently available textbook, whatever textbook for final method you prefer to refer, or C.S. Krishnamurthy textbook, or recently Tirupati Chandra Patla. So there are so many textbooks, Bhavi Ketti, so many textbooks are available. In the textbooks, you find out a similar kind of stepped bar is there, prismatic bar, a similar problem with nice data. Take it and you work out and keep it. The similar problems are available in many textbooks. I advise you to go through it, okay, and prepare notes or class notes by referring it. As a MTech student, you are expected to work hard, okay. Our contribution only will be 40%. Your contribution should be 60%. You are master degree student, okay. So even at BTech level, we are spoon feeding kind of teaching will not be done. You are master degree student, spoon feeding kind of teaching we cannot do it, okay. So our teaching, we will teach you only 40%. Remaining 60% you have to learn by working hard, because you are graduates, you already completed BTech, now you are doing your MTech structural engineering degree. Everything you cannot expect from us. However, I have done my best. Okay, I've told almost everything nicely, the concept involved. As a good teacher supposed to teach to the student the concept. Keeping on working out so many problems, no use. A good teacher never do that. Keep on working out so many problems, no. They have to only convey the concept to the student. It has been already conveyed to you. Okay, so a good teacher will concentrate only on concept, and he will only teach the concept to the student. The concept will be conveyed to them, right? Once after they understand the concept, it is their duty, their responsibility to work out many problems and getting, how to say, they have to ascertain themselves, and they have to become expert in that. They have to develop everything in their own. Okay, that's what. That moreover, you are a mastery student. Hope, okay. With this, I will finish today class. I think your syllabus is almost over. Okay, your syllabus is over. These are not necessary. Some rough work. Okay, so rough work not necessary. So I think all of you are attending. Very good. So I have recorded your name just for record purpose, right? Almost all of you are attending. Maybe one or two absentees might be there. Okay, no problem. So I have recorded your names, right? Good. This is for record purpose. I have recorded your names. So with this, I will stop today's class, right? Before that, bye to all of you. Nice, right? Just I will stop recording and we will discuss anything. Bye.